Hi, welcome to session 4. So we have our recap, which has the just a few questions from some of the learning that we've already done. So I'd like you to hit pause and have a go at those. Press play when you're ready to see the answers. Okay, so there we go. You should be able to see everything. It's gone a little bit high. There you are. All right, so all the working out, everything is there. So if you just hit pause, go through, if you haven't got the same answer, see if you can spot the error and correct that for yourself. All right, so pause and play when you finish marking. Okay, so you can see that I have done all the cancelling and changing it back into mixed numbers and things like that where appropriate. We're at the early stages with our fractions. By the end of the course, that would be your goal. That would be your target, to be doing all of that. But remember, it's really important that we are confident with our method. We're never going to get to an answer that requires cancelling if we can't even get started. So please, please, please do not put the pressure on. If fractions are quite tricky at the moment, just concentrate on your methods. And from there, you can develop your skills. Okay. All right, so we're going to be multiplying and dividing fractions in this session. And it's surprisingly easy when you compare it to adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting requires a smashed window and actually quite a lot of maths to get to that answer. Multiply and divide, however, is fairly straightforward, and it's not smash window. So this is where we have to start making these links. Okay, smash window, add and subtract, multiply and divide have their own. So let's have a look at our first example just to see what this is looking like. Oh, don't want to write in anything quite that large. There we go. I'm going to do a half times 3/4. And you literally just do what you see. That's it. And I call the method, just do it. You've got it, just do it. So what do I mean by that? I mean, just multiply along the top and multiply along the bottom. So 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 4 is 8. That's it. Obviously, it doesn't stay quite that easy because we could end up with answers that cancel. So if you are finding this really straightforward, maybe this would be a good session to start trying a bit more of that. Okay, because it's that easy, we're going straight into our have a go questions. All right, so let's just clean the board off. And I would like you to have a go at that question. So pause and play when you're ready. And we've got 3 and we've got 15. Okay, now if you had a go at the cancelling, you would have spotted that it divides by 3, top and bottom, of course, which would have given you a 1/5. All right. Okay, next one. 4 times 7 times 3/4. So 4/7 times 3/4. And the answer is 12/28. Again, it will cancel. So we're going to divide by 4 on this one, which is going to give us 3/7. So if you did that, well done. Think of it like we did last time. You're getting a tick. You're not wrong. You could get 2 ticks if you cancel and go all the way. All right, next question. There you go. Press play when you're ready. Okay, so I've got 18/56. I think the most obvious thing to do when the numbers are quite large when it comes to the cancelling is to just half. If you half, it will bring the numbers smaller, and then you might be able to see another times table that it would go into. So halving 18, so we're dividing by 2 technically, will give me 9. Halving 56. Now, for some people, that is tricky. So here is a way of doing it. Just break up your 50 into 50 and 6. Okay, so your 56, I should say, into your 50 and 6. Then half them, 25, 3, and add them together, and it gets you the bottom. And then you can start thinking about whether there's a times table that can go into it. You've got an odd, and this is an important thing. It can only be in an odd times table. So 9 is in the 3s, but 28 isn't. It's definitely not in the 5s. It's definitely not in the 7s, and it's not in the 9s. So it doesn't cancel anymore, and that's as far as you can go. So that is our multiplying. Let's take a quick look now at our division, because there is a little bit more to the division. So we've got 3/4 divided by a half. Now, this method is not to just do it. That is for multiplication. This one's a little bit trickier. And before I do this with you, I want to show you just a little bit about division that we should already know. If I gave you the question 8 divided by 4, you know that answer is 2. Okay. I could also write that question as 8 over 4. The fraction line means divide. So I've got 8 divided by 4 written there, which again, how many 4s into 8? 2, it's going to give you the same answer, isn't it? Now, if I took this question and wrote it in this form, it would look like this. 3/4 divided by a half. Now, when have you ever seen that? I will tell you, never. We don't work with our fractions in that way. We don't have a method that enables us to easily divide fractions. So we have to manipulate the question to make it work for us. So what we do is we perform this keep, change, flip procedure, if you like, to the question. So K is for keep. We keep the first fraction. C is for change. Now, I'm going to change this to its inverse, to its opposite, which is going to be times. And if I don't change the second fraction to compensate, then I'm not going to get the correct answer. I've just basically written myself a completely different question. Now, the flipping is just to help us remember to flip the fraction over on itself. What I've actually done is written the reciprocal, which is the opposite. It's probably the best way to think about it. So I've changed the sign to the opposite. I've changed the fraction to its reciprocal, and that now has written me an equivalent question, which means the answers would be the same. You could test it in a calculator. Put 3/4 divided by a half in, put 3/4 times by 2 over 1 in, and you will get the same answer. And obviously by doing this, I have created a just do it question. So I've made it really simple for myself. So I'm going to end up with 6 over 4. Now, if we're having a go at our cancelling, I would cancel before I worry about the mixed numbers. So they're both even. So that's going to go to 3 over 2. And then how many 2s into 3? 1 with 1 left over. And that stays over the 2. All right. So that would be the answers for that one. So let's have a go. Get straight into it, so you don't need to see it again. Just go for it. Use your notes and go for it. Press play when you're ready. Okay, so it's keep, change, flip. So I'm keeping the 2/5, changing the divide to times, flipping, and then I can just do it. And I've got 6 over 5. It won't cancel any further than that, but it can go into a mixed number. So how many 5s and 6s? 1 with 1 left over the 5. Okay. Okay, let's clean this up. What about this question? So I'm just changing now between the times and the divide. We've got the 2 methods. So if I gave you 4 times 3/5, oh, sorry, I haven't written that very well. There, that's better. If I do 4 times 3/5, what would you do? Pause, just on your current knowledge, give it a shot. Pause, hit play when you're ready. Okay, remember, my methods are always for fractions. And what I have in this question is an integer and a fraction. So I need to get this integer to be a fraction if I'm going to use my just do it method. And the way that I do this is really, really simple. I take the whole number and I put it over 1. 4 divided by 1. How many ones in 4? 4. I haven't actually changed the value of that at all by putting it over 1, but I have made it look like a fraction. And now I can just do it, which is going to give me 12 over 5. And if I am going for the cancelling, 5s into 12 go 2. 2 5s are 10. So I've got 2 left over the 5. All right. So that's a really, really useful thing to know. Okay. Let's try this. 2/7 divided by 2. Hit pause, just go for it. Press play when you're ready. Okay, so hopefully you were super confident. Just put that straight over 1 and then performed your keep, change, flip. So we had 2 over 7 times, and then that 1 is flipping with the 2. So they swap positions and then just do it. 2 times 1 is 2 and 7 times 2 is 14. So if you got that right, really well done. It will cancel. So if you had to go at the cancelling, it goes to a 7th. Okay, let's take a look at mixed numbers so we can see what's happening there. All right. Now, if you think your current knowledge would enable you to have a go at that, feel free. I'm quite happy to talk you through this. It's no different to our adding and subtracting, to be honest. We cannot use our methods unless they're fractions. This is a mixed number, so I can't just do it. I need to change. So we're timesing and adding in, and we'll do that obviously on both. So 3 3s are 9, plus 2 is 11. And then we've got 7 over 4. So if I just do that, I will get 77 over 12. And this is probably the biggest difference when you've got the mixed numbers to do. You do end up with much bigger numbers that you have to then try and work out how to cancel. So that is the downside to mixed numbers with multiplication. So let's just do this one. So 12s into 77. All right, 6 12s are 72. So I can get 6 out with 5 left over the 12. Okay, so nothing new with regards to changing the mixed numbers and then working on it. All right, so let's do a fraction one. Fraction one, they're all fraction ones. Let's do a divide one. So we've got 2 1/4 divided by 3 2/5. All right, so go for it. Okay, so first thing is to obviously change. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So I've got 9 over 4. And then 17 over 5. Don't try and jump ahead and do the timesing and the flipping all at the same time. Just do it step by step, because you're much more likely to spot an error if you did make one, and much less likely to go wrong, or just generally. Okay, now we're going to keep, change, and flip. 9 5s are 45. And as I say, you know, we can end up where we have to do a bit of work on the maths that gets created through the method. For timesing by 4, it's simple enough because we can just double it and double it again. So double it would give me 34, double it again would give me 68. Okay, and then I'm down to, okay, does it cancel? I can see that there's an odd, so I only have to think about the odd times tables. It is in the 3s, 45 times 15, but this isn't. Okay, so it's not going to be the 3s. It's not going to be in the 5s because that denominator isn't in the 5s. 7, they're not in the 7 times table. They're not in the 9s. They're not in the 11s. They could be in a bigger one like 13 or 17 or 21, but it's much less likely to see anything like that, certainly on a GCSE paper. Sometimes with our practice questions, you can, because you kind of run out of questions to give you to practice. But generally speaking, you shouldn't have to be worrying about numbers outside of your general 12 by 12 tables grid. This one doesn't cancel. Okay, so that is the final answer there, 45 over 68. And that's it, really. I think you just need to get stuck in and be practicing it. So it's just do it for multiplication and it's keep, change, flip for your division. All right. And everything else that you know about fractions works here with your mixed numbers, etc., etc. All right. So we've got some questions. There you go. So I want you to hit pause, have a go, forwards and backwards, keep checking in, don't do all 10 and then realize that you've made an error that you could have corrected early on. And I will scroll the answers out and see you next session. Well done today.